The suspect, we are told, got out of his car, jumped off of the bridge and into the Rio Grande River, and then swam into Mexico. I don't know how far of a drop that is. Clearly a very good drop. This man did not want to be caught, swam into Mexico. We understand Mexican authorities did also come very close to the border of the bridge as well and have been involved in the search for this suspect on the Mexican side of the border. This again still a developing story. We are trying to piece together some of the basic facts on this in terms of exactly what precipitated this chase. We had a bunch of fire crews and trucks right here. They've all gone to the other side of this patch of brush because apparently it's a lot worse over there than where it is right here. Hard to tell exactly how long this is going to burn here, but no water's being put on these flames. Dry piece of wood may not look like much, but this afternoon it turned into a lifeline. Sills says this is what he grabbed and thrust into the water so that the first girl could grab hold. Needed to be paid by the end of this month. So now we have a final time frame on when this money's supposed to be paid. Question is, are Bojack and the county on the same page? And we will, of course, eventually find out. Reporting live from Canyon County, Kirk Chaisson, today's Channel 6 News. Yesterday, police sealed off this area and searched through the brush to look for clues in the death of a man they say died from a beating. The man was naked and his clothes were thrown all around this area. Critics say the location of the gas tank on these vehicles remains a problem. We're going to show you where it is. Right here is the trunk of the vehicle. This is the gas tank right here. This march looks like it's going to finish peacefully, but before it started, some of these people were talking about an armed white revolution. Debris strewn all over the road, as you can see. You can't even tell what some of this used to be. Apparently a car battery there. As of 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're now feeling sustained winds of more than 80 miles an hour. The closest point of approach for Typhoon Roy has been changed to just 12 miles north of the island. It's now set for 7:30 in the evening. In world news, a strong earthquake rocked Taiwan today, killing at least 3 people and flattening homes. Putin believes that hazardous fumes must have been sucked inside the building's ventilation system from the outside. This is the Eagle River substation where they have a public counter, and what we're going to do is walk around to the public counter and see what happens when someone in Eagle River wants to come here in person and maybe report a crime. Well, we can see that the door is locked and you have to press this buzzer to maybe get some service. I don't know how long it will take. We did see a patrol car come in and out a little bit early. Right now we are at what is called the forward area refueling point, which our pilots have nicknamed Texaco. They are obviously gassing up. There's been a temporary pause because some civilians somehow got into the area near the target range. But so far, our gunners have already fired off more than 600 of these 7.62 millimeter rounds. For the past couple of days, Judy Merritt and her family have been nearly working around the clock to clear the underbrush from their property. The out-of-control wildfire in the Chugach National Forest is now less than a mile from their home.
The smoke is making me nervous. The ridge, we've got a river right here, and we've got two hills right behind our house. And apparently it was at the second hill.
Judy has signed up to race the Iditarod next year, and they've been keeping half of her dog team in a truck. The U.S. Forest Service now has 200 firefighters on the scene to contain the fire, some from the lower 48 and others like this crew from the village of Grayling on the Yukon River.
We don't have a line completely around it, and until we do, it's not a controlled fire.
They've shut down the Trail Creek campground where you can taste the smoke and see it billowing from beyond the trees. This is what everybody's worried about. This is what's fueling the fire. Tens of thousands of beetle-killed trees like this one. As you can see, the wood is so dry, when the flames hit this, the whole tree goes up in just a minute. At the Crown Point Lodge, they're watering down the building, hoping the flames don't get any closer, but expecting they probably will.
We've been up all night watching the thing, doing what we can. Initially, I thought they'd control it. If we lose the building, I'll be a lot mad.
The Seward Highway remains open, and from this pullout, tourists can take photos of the smoky panorama while area residents watch and wait. The Forest Service and state troopers have not ordered any evacuations yet, but either way, the Merritts say they're not going anywhere.
This is our home. You know, we are not going to start over. No, we're going to fight it.
In an instant, their father killed, their mother deported.
They're struggling to recover tonight at St. Luke's Hospital, victims of a terrible car crash and politics. Tonight, they break their silence. Kirk Chaisson joins us live with much more in tonight's big story.
The Macedo children's father died when a truck crossed the median on I-84 and slammed into their car in Caldwell on October 9th. The kids can barely process that their father is gone while their mother remains legally stuck in Mexico. The Macedo children are physically and emotionally broken. 17-year-old Emily, 8-year-old Ashley, 5-year-old Joshua, and 14-year-old Javier are improving, but they struggle to make it through each day. Emily says she remembers waking up after the car crash and thinking she was having a nightmare.
When I hear this moaning, this screaming in the back of I hear somebody screaming, and I hear him crying, and I'm like, get in doctors or policemen, because I heard him crying and I didn't want him to cry anymore.
The children's mother, Wendy, was deported to Mexico 8 months ago, and she has been prevented from returning to Idaho to see the children. And Aunt Rosa Arizmendi has been granted temporary guardianship. She says the children's mother is frantic.
She's so worried. She's crying all the time, and she say, please do it the best you can over there to get me to the United States.
Doctors say the children are all in stable condition, but clearly they all face long recoveries as the younger ones cry for their mother, and Emily tries to remain strong for what's left of her family. The children's mother is trying to get an emergency visa to allow her to come here to help her children. Senator Mike Crapo's office is working on that case. Reporting from the studio, Kirk Chaisson, today's Channel 6 News. Had her identity stolen and her name entered into the state's criminal database. We've figured out how to get that fixed, and judging by today's event in Nampa, a lot of other people are worried about becoming victims as well. The line seemed endless in this store parking lot, people waiting to have their sensitive personal documents shredded for free, a yearly event set up by the Better Business Bureau. People like Mike Doster had boxes and boxes of papers rendered unusable to potential thieves.
This is a great way to get rid of old papers that could be used to get into your accounts and assume your identity.
Sorry. Meanwhile, in Caldwell, we've found a solution to Wendy Alba's problem. Alba was a victim of identity theft when the passenger in a car stopped at this intersection in Caldwell in July gave police her name and date of birth. That person was charged with marijuana possession, but Alba's name got entered into the state computers as being the defendant in the case. Alba finally got it straightened out with police and prosecutors who gave her letters proving she was not the person charged, but her name still remains stuck in the state criminal database called the Idaho Repository. That mistake made it difficult for Alba to find a new place to rent until one manager saw our earlier stories and agreed to rent to her. I checked with the Idaho Supreme Court, and they explained the process by which Alba's name can be removed. Prosecuting attorney Mandy Hessing says she is now preparing the motion that will get that ball rolling.
It's kind of nerve-wracking that it's taking as long as it is. I think that there should have been something done prior, maybe better identification of the person.
So while a solution is in the works for Alba, other Treasure Valley residents are clearly worried that they could become victims as well. One research company reports that 10 million people in the U.S. were victims of identity theft in 2008, with account fraud totaling $31 billion. Reporting from the studio, Kirk Chaisson, today's Channel 6 News.